So now that you hopefully have a little bit of a better taste for what it is we actually do, we want to help you understand what that does for our customers. I'm going to introduce you here now to Jennifer Whip, who's our head of cell engineering commercial, and Ina Kratzenberg, our chief business officer, who are going to introduce you to a number of our customers and help explain how we think about building real partnerships with our customers and enabling their programs to succeed. Jen, Ina, take it away.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Whip, head of commercial here at Ginkgo Bioworks.
And I'm Ina Kratzenberg. I'm the chief business officer at Ginkgo.
We just took you on a tour of our foundry, and you learned about our massive data in Codebase. We want to talk to you about our customers, how we work with them, and give you a little bit of insight into what a cell program looks like.
As you've just heard, our mission is to make biology easier to engineer. And what that means is that we are relentless in the pursuit of building a world-class cell engineering program to enable our customers to develop very innovative products and solutions. Our customers are amazing innovators who have great ideas of how to use biology to solve world-class problems.
At Ginkgo, cell programming can take on many different forms. It could be improving an ingredient for fermentation, inventing a novel therapeutic, creating bio-derived chemicals that replace products that are currently made with petroleum.
We do stuff like enzyme work that would go into baking and brewing. We're working on solutions for bioremediation. So the list goes on and on. There are many things we can do with cell programming.
Many of the partners that we work with have their own R&D teams,
That's right.
Especially in pharma.
Yeah.
Why would they come work with Ginkgo?
I think what's really interesting is to see how Ginkgo actually complements our customers' R&D efforts. With sophisticated customers like many of our pharma partners, they have an extensive R&D organization and they do their drug discovery and development really, really well. But what we do and what we offer is really an extension of that capability. We have a cell programming platform that is extensive, that has a lot of experts who know how to do cell programming, that really plugs in to what they're doing in terms of developing new therapeutics or looking for ways to improve the manufacturing process. As we've seen with some of the latest news, we are working with pharma partners on improving mRNA production. We're working with pharma partners on gene therapy, and the list goes on. There's just a lot more we can do there that we're really excited about. We recently announced a deal with Biogen where we're working with them to develop a next-gen AAV producing vectors. And what's exciting to us about that is gene therapy has a lot of promise to address a lot of unmet medical needs, cure a lot of diseases, but manufacturing has been a challenge. It's difficult to manufacture gene therapies for diseases that have high dosage needs or for diseases with large patient populations. So what we're doing with Biogen is to figure out how to use our high throughput automated foundry along with our ability to come up with all sorts of different constructs and designs and really go through rapidly this design test cycle to allow us to figure out the optimal constructs that would give us the highest producing, most efficient AAV production platform.
Tell me about the types of customers that we have.
We have customers of all different sizes that span across many different markets. We've just talked about some of our pharma customers, but as you've indicated earlier, for our cell programs are really broad and diverse. So we have customers that are working in different markets, whether it's consumer products, in industrial chemicals, in bioremediation, baking and brewing, but we also have customers that range across many different sizes. We have Fortune 500 customers. We also have emerging new startups and a bunch of customers in between. Once we enter into a collaboration with our customers and we put together a technical development plan, what happens?
First, we assign a dedicated program team. These are experts in how to use the foundry and how to leverage Codebase. But it's not just that program team that works with our customers. They're the orchestrators of the technical development plan. They leverage the massive scale of our foundry and Codebase to execute on that plan. They're able to tap into the 200,000 square feet of foundry space that folks saw earlier and the massive amounts of data that provide a starting point, a head start really, on how we can move the project forward.
And on top of that, the experts, all the experience that we have accrued from the years of working on different cell programs. It's amazing to see that our customers who are working on a specific program can access this massive infrastructure consisting not only of hardware, our foundry, software, the code base, but also the expertise of people who can actually execute the program well.
That's right, Ina. Our teams are able to leverage experts throughout the foundry to run through design, build, test, ferment cycles, to run an iterative engineering approach to reach the outcomes that our customers need.
Take us through what actually happens when we engage a customer and start a cell programming project.
When we start working with customers, we set up a cross-functional joint steering committee. And this is a team of people who are looking after both the technical and the commercial elements of that cell program. We find that through the process of often our first cell program, we identify next areas of interest for our customers. They start to view us as a strategic thought partner, as technical advisors, and we understand more about their strategic interests and how biology can help support that. So we find that this joint steering committee often identifies new areas of interest for our customers, new cell programs that we can work on next. One of the things that we can offer to customers is the ability to flex up or flex down their R&D resources and their spend. So what that means is that they don't have to spend a bunch of capital to build out lab space and automation at the scale that we have. And even if they decided to do that, they wouldn't have the years of experience building the scale and building the code base that we have. We've been at this for over a decade now.
Yeah.
So what kind of new customer conversations are you having?
So I've been doing BD in the synthetic biology world for the past decade and a half. And what's really exciting to me is to see that as the synthetic biology platform becomes more and more mainstream, there's a lot more interest and understanding of what the platform can do. And because of the success that we've had with our existing customers, we're getting existing customers talking to us about doing more projects, but those existing customers, as they launch new products, make the synthetic biology platform more real, and that attracts more and more customers. So the diversity of customers we're seeing and the speed at which we're getting really good traction with customers who want to use our platform has really accelerated in recent years. We're getting a lot of inbound inquiries from customers about what can the biology platform do for them. They're asking us questions that actually allows us to think more creatively about how our platform can be applied. So I'm more excited than ever about our pipeline, more excited than ever about the possibilities of synthetic biology, and I think this is only going to explode from here.
So one of the things that gets me very excited about Ginkgo is the enormous breadth of applications where our platform is relevant and can lead to breakthrough innovations. And we've purposely developed a corporate structure that will allow us to do that we don't just focus on one or two or three markets, one or two or three applications, but have set up the capability to be meaningful to a lot of different industries with partners, obviously, that have deep expertise in those industries. And that, to me, is the optimum, leverage of what Ginkgo has built over the last 15 years.
Well, Motif is a food technology company, and we're here to create plant-based foods that people actually crave. And that's kind of a high bar when you look at where the industry is at today, where consumers really aren't getting what they expect from their plant-based foods. They don't taste right, the texture's not right, the nutrition's not where it needs to be. We believe those gaps exist today because the basic science of how to formulate with plant-based foods isn't really well known, and technology tools to really create ingredients that make a difference to close those gaps hasn't existed. From an ingredient standpoint, the technology that Ginkgo brings to the table and that we partner on is a huge unlock to deliver those properties.
And plant-based food, this is really popular right now. So how is Motif going to compete?
Well, the plant-based market is exploding right now in food, and we're really well positioned to take advantage of a lot of that growth. One of the reasons we can do that so effectively is because of our partnership with Ginkgo and the great technology platform that Codebase and Foundry give us to develop new ingredients that don't exist anywhere else. So the ability to create foods within this space that really taste the way people expect them to taste, that perform the way consumers expect. Think of a burger that actually tastes meaty and that has the right texture to have pieces of the meat stick between your teeth. Think about cheese that's gooey and melty and stretchy. We can enable those types of foods with the technologies that we're building together.
And how has the Ginkgo partnership helped enable you to build some of that technology?
The real advantage to our partnership is the thought partnership that we have as a combined team. We're very close partners and we're colleagues in this effort. Also, the advantage technology of the foundry and code base really provide us with a competitive advantage that nobody else in this industry has. We can literally screen thousands and thousands of variants of potential ingredients all at the same time, faster than anyone else can, and pick the ingredients that perform the best in plant-based meat, dairy, or nutrition applications. So we can move faster than anybody because of Ginkgo's technology, and we know how to make all that technology work in food better than anyone else in the industry can.
When you have an idea about a technology need for food and you come to Ginkgo to talk about that need, how does that work?
The technology base at Ginkgo is amazing, but the intelligence of the people, the team at Ginkgo, is also second to none. We're very fortunate to work with such amazing scientists. And so we start at square one with an idea of what kind of functionality in food are we trying to target. And we work together to identify the best way to generate those targets using the foundry. So we start from the very initial phases of what does the screening have to look like, and then what's our approach going to be to design the right organisms to make those ingredients. So that process can take anywhere from a few to 6 months, and we're together every step of the way until we actually have an organism in our labs that we can grow and scale up to commercial production.
Once Ginkgo has done the engineering of the organism, how do we work with you to put that into market, to make that real?
When we receive material from Ginkgo, it's not just a handoff of a microbe. It's handover of all sorts of information and insights that enable us to quickly go to commercial scale and actually produce ingredients for these applications. It's a full body of knowledge that's transferred, the thinking, the partnership, and the conditions that allow us to be successful from day one when we go into commercial environment.
So you've been with Motif for 2 years and you've seen a bunch of change. How does that pace compare to competitors or to other people who are working in synthetic biology?
The innovation cycle here is breakneck speed, and that's enabled by the throughput of the foundry and, again, the talent of the team at Ginkgo and the way we work together in our partnership. I've been here for less than 2 years, but I've seen already more experimentation, more iteration and innovation than I've seen in most of my time in the industry.
Everything is fast here, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the products. What's it like when you've tasted one of these products that we've been making for the first time?
We've actually gone into actual market applications. We're actually selling a prototype product now in a food service environment, which contains Motif ingredient that we collaborated on to produce. To be able to be in that situation less than 2 years from inception is just astounding. But the feedback we've received on these products is incredible. We're finding that our product is beating market incumbents and performing at a higher level than what you can buy in the store today.
Why are your investors excited about Motif?
They're excited by exactly that combination you mentioned earlier. They see the value in the advantage technology that Codebase and Foundry bring to the table. They see the team at Ginkgo, how they work with the Motif team. They see our partnership, and combining that incredible technology on the front end with our ability to execute and commercialize in the food industry with all the experience we have, that's a combination that they can't find anywhere else, and it's very compelling from an investment standpoint. We're going to invent new ingredients that the industry's never seen, and we're going to do things from a science standpoint and an innovation standpoint that will really change the world of food in ways that are hard to predict now.
Sounds delicious. I can't wait. Thanks, Mike, for talking to us today. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jen.
It's great. We have the industry expertise, and you have the, overall the platform that plugs in. I would say it's like if I wanted to start an e-commerce company, I wouldn't try and build a data server farm. I would go to Amazon and say, hey, we need to get hosted on your platform. So I think there's really no overlap. It's designing the organisms. We then, we can actually, they're fungible. The cannabinoids we make are fungible with what we grow and extract. So we already have the products, at least the base products in market. It's then innovating and adding new cannabinoids and tweaking the brand messaging. And I also think one of the things that's amazing, the fermentation facility is a great example where we were looking at Coman, and I think someone knew that, hey, there's a facility that might be available. And so while that's not part of the collaboration initially, just sort of teaming up and saying, all right, we're going to work together to go and find this facility and retrofit it and scale it up is So to me, especially given the equity relationship, it's a full partnership.
So Join was actually launched and founded back in 2017, October of 2017. And the vision was to bring together the agricultural and microbial expertise at Bayer with the synthetic biology expertise at Ginkgo and marry the two together with the vision of engineering microbes for agricultural solutions. And that was the basis for the company. So in 2017, when we launched it, it was me half-time as the interim CEO. And fast forward to today, Join is 75 employees. We've got about 50 of them in Boston here, cohabitating with the Ginkgo team, and another 20 in California, in Woodland at a Bayer site, doing our plant science work.
That's cool.
And it's been an exciting adventure for us as we've sort of essentially pioneering the use of and the approach of engineering microbes for agricultural solutions. That's really the key thing. And so it's been a great partnership between both Bayer and Ginkgo to drive this, and Join is the beneficiary of being a joint venture that has these two highly supportive parents. It's actually been, from the very beginning, has been very much a team effort. And I think what you have to understand is that microbe or that chassis that we're using, in its natural form, there are no microbes that do this. So with Ginkgo, we're able to use the foundry and the technologies that Ginkgo's developed to essentially go through what Ginkgo will call design, build, test. And so we'll find a starting point. We'll find a microbe that has some baseline activity, and then with the help of the Ginkgo and the foundry technology, we'll go through iteration after iteration, improving the amount of nitrogen that's fixed and the amount of nitrogen that's being transferred, or the high throughput. And the scale that Ginkgo brings is something that not only a small company like Join, but even somebody like Bayer doesn't have, right? And it's extremely unique to Ginkgo. And so that's why this partnership between the two, like taking the agricultural and microbial power of Bayer and then combining that with Ginkgo as a partner for Join, that's why we're in such a unique position compared to anybody else out there in terms of the resources, the tools, the technology, and even the know-how that's there that all has to go into doing something nobody's ever done.
Historically, we had seen that products were created in a way where it was really, you needed a quality product, it could hit cost, and there was performance. So the quality, performance, cost as the main drivers. And now we're seeing the brands who are coming to our table who are saying, we need Genomatica. Sustainability is the driving cause. So they're saying we need sustainability, we also need cost, and we also need performance. And we're able to bring it to life and bring it to scale. And so what synthetic biology reminds us is that sustainability is the how we can deliver in a new way. And it takes collaborations like our partnership with Ginkgo and other folks to bring this work to life and to accelerate the changes.
Our partnership with Ginkgo Bioworks has been really fruitful. They work with us to understand our needs and identify the areas in which their technologies could help advance our goals. Ginkgo built systems to express the COVID-19 antibodies we had discovered, and they tested the antibodies for spike protein binding and neutralization activity. Pairing our computational antibody discovery platform with Ginkgo's Foundry was instrumental in validating proof points for our COVID-19 program. Ginkgo hasn't just been incremental arms and legs. It allowed us to scale our platform's tangible output. With the addition of Ginkgo's complementary methods, we've been able to evaluate more of our computed sequences than we otherwise would have been able to within our budget. Together, we've been working on molecules with exciting potential relevant to the COVID-19 pandemic, while at the same time laying the technological groundwork for responding rapidly to future threats.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ari Beldegrin, a physician, scientist, and a UCLA professor, and a Ginkgo investor and incoming board member. And I have with me 3 outstanding scientists and leaders in the biotech and life science industry. Today, you will hear some of their ideas from that discussion. We spoke about the value of synthetic biology, or SynBio, for the biotech and pharma world, and the potential of Ginkgo's value and contribution to the space. Enjoy.
So, let's first talk about synthetic biology. I mean, to me, this is really a continuum of the recombinant DNA technology. I mean, now in the genomic era, we understand the functions of many genes. And what we can do now is not only understanding the functions of the genes, but what different segments of each gene does in producing protein. Now, in the current genomic era, we can piece different parts together and come up with genes that can do much better than what the natural gene does. I think this is really the synthetic biology at the core. And now, what Ginkgo, I believe, is doing is industrializing the process of synthetic biology. I've been involved in the chimeric antigen receptor drug development for the last 8 or 9 years. And when I think about the chimeric antigen receptor itself, that is an outcome of a synthetic biology. Chimeric antigen receptor doesn't exist in nature. It is pieced together using 3 or 4 different genes, and you come up with a protein that will enable the T cells to do its job much better in seeking out and destroying the cancer cells. And this is not just a science fiction. There are 4 FDA-approved products using chimeric antigen receptor technology, and there are thousands more in development as we speak right now. And what the Ginkgo biology, scientists have done is modularizing the synthetic biology to make this occur in a much more efficient and speedy way. So something like chimeric antigen receptor technology, from the inception of the idea, which occurred in the late 1980s, to actually perfecting the so-called the second generation that we are all using, it took about 15 years. And we are still looking for a better chimeric antigen receptor construct. And I think this can be done in a much speedier way, not in 15 years and hopefully in a matter of months. And that's where Ginkgo is coming in.
There's 3 key areas that synthetic biology can have an impact on gene editing. First, what's important with gene editing enzymes is to be able to sample the genome, that is, to edit any base anywhere. And if we focus on RNA-guided nucleases, the CRISPR-Cas systems that allow you the greatest flexibility, those systems are dependent upon a primer that can see the nucleotide sequence that one wants to target, but they have to see adjacent to that primer what's called a PAM, or protospacer adjacent motif. Otherwise, you can't target your specific sequence. And as editing becomes more precise, the enzymes that are available being developed by the current crop of companies, Strep pyogenes Cas9, Staph aureus Cas9, CPF1, have very limited PAM sequences, and you can only target against those PAM sequences. Your primer must be preceded or followed by those PAM sequences.
I think there's several immediate applications that come to mind for development of synthetic biology and Ginkgo's platform in the application to therapeutics. Perhaps the most immediate one, and one that I think is perhaps going to be most important, is development of new antibiotics. We have a collaboration with Roche that is looking at antibiotics that can treat some of the gram-positive organisms that are difficult otherwise to treat. Another area that I see as very promising is in the high throughput production of protein therapeutics. Most of the proteins that now are being produced are using primarily natural amino acids, but I think as we go to more challenging targets in the protein therapeutic space, that increasingly we're seeing those proteins, including a small number, but a very important number of unnatural amino acids. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to use recoded bacterial organisms that may be able to simply express those specific unnatural amino acids in a more natural way and avoid the use of chemical processes during the synthesis.